final draw of the evening here at the Embassy Row Bonspiel. This is the C-Event semifinals. There are only 2 games. Our feature game, which will be on Sheet B, features the Samsung Explosion team, whose names are Wilson Coe, Kyle Snyder, Henrique Kempenich, and actually it's not Paul Schultz, it's actually Galad Kempenich. I'll be fixing that right now. There we go. And they will be up against the Markwardt team, which that's not them at all. What did I do wrong? Oh, that's what I did wrong. All right, they'll be up against the Craig Markwardt team, a couple of which have some cute little, they've been adopting missing name tags all weekend. Lori Bletchker curling as Von Flickinger is the lead. Stady Tesco is Margaret Allendorf, why not? Judy Rathhusen is herself as the vice, and Craig Markwardt is also himself as the skip. I think I've got his name misspelled, but we'll fix that later. Team Samsung Explosion got the hammer. They'll be throwing the red stones. The yellow stones is the Markwardt team. My name's Alan McNeil. I'll be bringing you all the action. I will be being joined here shortly by Mike Sell. And like I said, this is a C-Event semifinal. They're curling for the right to play in the C-Event final tomorrow at noon. We already have our A, B, and D event finalists. These are the last 2 spots to be
all right, go now.
Determined.
All the way, all the way, all the way. Just drag. As far as you can take it. Great shot. Nice shot. Top 8.
And actually, I'm also joined by Bob Williams. He's on the mic now. Good afternoon, Bob. Good evening.
Hi, everybody. I'm back. I neglected in the last 2.5 hours I was on the microphone to actually say I was indeed Bob Williams, but that was who brought you the great matchup between the Columbus Charlottesville hybrid team and the Curling Club of Virginia, won by Eric Johnson, which sent him to the B final.
So, as per usual, we do have the chat available, so if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask them, and we'll answer them in due course, of course. So here's our situation. We're getting ready to throw the 4th lead rock of the game. That would be Wilson Coe, Samsung Explosion lead extraordinaire, who is facing currently an empty house with 3 guards in front, 2 yellow on the center line and a red guarding the 8-foot edge of the 4-foot on our right. Actually, you're right too.
Nice shot.
So apologies for we're being a little bit slow on the putting it together at the end here because the turnover from the last draw was a little quick. So we're moving on to so Wilson. Yep, Wilson put his stone in the house. No, yes. Why is my technology not working? That's my technology working. There we go. Yes, he put it up in the tall 8-foot, just outside the 4-foot. And looks like Stacy is going to try to pick that out. Looks a little wide to me. A little wide and a little too heavy. She's going to make contact. She actually is making that. Is it going to be enough to take it out? Sweeping it hard? No, but it does change the house.
Stacy had a great fall, Alan. Stacy is either from Chicago. I'm not sure if she's from Chicago, but she's a massive Cubs fan. In fact, I ran into Craig and Stacy at Ivy and Coney on 7th Street, which is a Cubs bar, the night of Game 4, which was actually a pretty bad night for everybody.
That was a horrible night for
They
them.
went down 3-1, but her Cubs pulled through, so she's probably in high spirits, I hope.
Absolutely. Actually, I believe she is from there, actually. So, yeah. She's had a good month of November. All right, Kyle Snyder throwing his first stone of the game. My angle's a little off. So he passed the guards.
Yep, he
Yes,
is by. It's a question of whether they're going to touch. Enrique is staying on it. He's really hammering. And they're going to be second shot.
Second shot stone. That's fine. They have one. They're line 2 right now. So, fun fact, I don't know if you're aware, Enrique actually plays on the Israeli national curling. Not Enrique.
His son Gabe.
His son Gabe plays
is the
on
fifth for the Israeli national
Israeli
team.
national curling team, who will be competing in the European B championships in a matter of weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks now, if I understand the calendar correctly. And that actually has an opportunity if they place highly enough. If they win the B, they qualify for Worlds and the
European A.
So it's an interesting. Well, they don't qualify automatically for the Worlds. They get to play like the 6th place team in the European A. So he explained it to me once. It didn't quite make sense, but.
What do you think of this?
Kyle Snyder steps into the hack again. Kyle plays lead in our Sunday Night League. Alan and I are the co-coordinators of a new Sunday Night Team Entry League here in Potomac. Kyle's is an interesting story. Kyle told me, I remember when Nick Datlow started, I said, how is that possible? You played in the Kaiser last year. He was actually the losing skip of the A final in the Kaiser. But it turns out he started in 2004, took a year off, then like played again, that took like 7 years off.
Right.
And so Kyle stands here, I believe, a 4th or 5th year curler, but he's been around the game for the better part of 12 years.
You're right. Nothing wrong with that at all. And we do have a couple folks actually participating in the chat online. We got Melinda Carlson, who's been here all day. I love dedicated fans like that, Melinda. We should send you a T-shirt or something. I don't have one, but if I did, I would. And David Bekowski. Fun fact about David Bekowski, he won a bunch of money on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire over the summer.
I knew he was a game show contestant. Is it also true he tried out for Jeopardy?
He has tried out. I don't believe he's actually made the cut yet, but he's working on it. He'll get there someday.
Now he lives, I don't know if he lives in Bridgeport. He curls out of Bridgeport with some of my good friends like Craig Doucette. He played with him in the Blazing Leaves Bonspiel this early in October.
All right, very nice. So we are here now in the first vice stone of the game. Judy Racusin, who is on the Craig Markwardt team, actually curling as herself. I don't know if they did they warn you about this? A couple of the Markwardt folks, the Markwardt front end has adopted missing name tags. Lori Fletcher is curling as Lori von Flickinger. I have no idea how that name tag happened. And Stacy Tetsko is in the guise of Margaret Allendorf.
I wonder if it's some sort of play on Markwart's German heritage or perhaps an ode to the sound of music. I'm not exactly sure.
I think it was a leftover name tag
from
some time.
And they picked the most German ones they could find?
Most German ones they could find, because why not? Hey. And, yep, David's trying out for Jeopardy again in March, actually. Well, hopefully for you, David, you make the show and you'll be able to say, yes, Alex, I'll take draws to the forefoot for 2,000.
Markwardt in a reasonable steal position. I think the rock that Gilad is having Enrique size up is, probably 3/4 or more buried, even to a right-hander's view. But they're going to attack it with something like a hack weight. It looks less than that.
Yeah, I don't. This feels like it might get there. I'm at a little bit worse of an angle than you are. Is he past the guards?
He's by the guards. You can hear Gilad. He's off and on, which generally means he's close to what he's trying to do.
It wrecks, so it's still shot, and now it's really behind stuff. That ain't going anywhere.
Craig Markwardt, he's got the center pretty much owned. He's adopting the philosophy of sometimes the best guard is to sit 1 and 2.
It's I've heard worse arguments. So over on sheet A, we have the other C event semifinal going on, and that is the Schultz rink from Pittsburgh playing against the Shaw rink from Melvin Shaw rink from Potomac, as opposed to Courtney, who just lost in the other A event semifinal, so she'll be in the D tomorrow afternoon.
After the feature game ended after 7 ends, I was doing something of a radio call of both your game and Courtney's game, alternating. It was quite the experience. It was a little easier because you could be more descriptive, but at the same time, it was really tiring trying to call 2 games at once.
Yeah, it gets a little rough sometimes, and it was kind of rough to be on the ice too, for that matter. I apologize for blowing out your eardrums on my last stone.
It wasn't as much the volume. I wasn't quite sure. By your body language, I wasn't sure if you had made it or missed it really badly.
Like through that port?
Yeah, I wasn't sure either.
You can hit the guard. It's visual noise. Yep. Let's go.
So Henrique, they're sizing up the shots. I think Gabe might just be calling the tap raise on his stone on the center line. How the heck's he did he get there?
We're not tapping this out. Well, let's go hack.
I think he's going after the yellow in the back forefoot. He's talking about going hack weight.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be a real trick. I mean, how is he going to get there with an out turn?
He's planning on doing it by raising his. He's planning on raising his. That's up there in the top 8. That's what they were calling.
Not a lot of rotation on this, and we talked a lot in the last broadcast about that with these new rocks. This thing, when it starts to go, is going to go really high.
Yeah, it is tough to set a good hand on this. Boy, you know, he's... Oh,
yep, and there it is.
Yep, tap the guard. On the plus side, it is exposed, so Gilad has a couple opportunities to do something with it, assuming, of course, that Craig is not, uncooperative and closes it off and stuff.
But again, I just can't emphasize enough how important it is to get 3 full rotations on these stones. They're very much like the stones that you see at competition level. They were bought from Kays of Scotland, the same makers of stones for the U.S. National Championships, the Canadian National Championships, both the Brier and the Scotties.
Yep. And the Worlds.
And while they will, it's not that they will move a ton on you at control weight and up, or even board weight and up if your release is clean. It's just if you throw anything lower than that and don't really give it the right rotation, or if you have any sort of lazy wrist, I mean, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, these rocks, for those who have been to Potomac in previous years, these rocks were replaced over the summer. These are brand new rocks after the, let's just say the Great Flood of early 2016 basically destroyed the old rocks. So the club bought the bullet, we've been needing to do it anyhow. So bought the bullet, bought the new rocks, and these reward a solid delivery.
That's absolutely right. I mean, the more technically proficient you are, and that's fine, I think.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that at all. Although right now, I virtually guarantee that David Bykowski is sitting out there going, when Alan's saying these rocks reward a good delivery, how's he doing it? I played with David when he was in the club here for several years, not on his team, against him often. And David hated my delivery. It was a stick. I think the positive of Henrique's last shot is that now Gilad has a decent amount of the shot stone. Well, I'm sorry, not the shot stone, but his raise. His raise is a lot easier now. Yeah, his raise is there.
We got 3/4. I played a few hairs more.
It's better at least. They just gave it a couple more inches. Looks like he's calling for about, I'd call it 2.5 feet of curl. On the, I guess technically it's an out turn.
He's really got to trim the deep yellow guard. I mean, the thing about raises is you're not just giving enough ice to wreck a little bit. You need to give the ice to completely wreck.
Yeah, this has
and
to be.
I think oftentimes the people give a little too much for promotes and lighter raises. We'll see if this comes back for him. Gilad has a tendency to fishtail.
Yeah, I'll be surprised, honestly, if it does. I feel like this is too much ice.
Gilad has a tendency to fishtail, but he often squares his shoulders when he gets to the hog line and sends the rock straight up to the sheet, which compensates a little bit, but not a lot. That was a much better slide.
I was going to say, that looks pretty clean. The sweepers are on it, so that means they think it's inside.
Yeah, they got to go.
Now
they should stay on it.
It's not going to get to the nose. Nope. It is going to make contact, but it's not going to get to the nose, so it's just going to innocently.
But again, that does a job for him.
That's true. At the moment, there is an open exposure to that Markwardt stone in the back 4 as we're getting ready to throw the final stones of the end. Craig Markwardt will throw first.
It's a very high leverage situation for Craig. It's do or die. He makes this guard. Even if he makes like at halfway, he's all right. If he doesn't, he's looking to give it up 4 points.
Up a 4, which is a lousy way to have the first stone or first end.
Yeah, I didn't see the first couple shots of the game. Generally, a first end, I love to play right to the forefoot, even without hammer. I'm really interested in seeing how the ice is going to react, especially because it's usually a little slower. If you ask your lead for the 4, you might get the center guard anyway.
Yeah, well, actually, they played the traditional guard game. in the early rocks, so we don't have neither team is really neither team has thrown even Craig's stone that's there in the back, that wasn't a pure draw. It got there off a little bit of a tick.
Craig giving a little less ice than last time. I want to see Craig really hold his slide. Last time Craig was kind of quick to get up and follow. I like this a lot better. I mean, he's really focused on the shot and the follow through.
Looks like he's in the hole.
He's definitely in the gap. It's, again, light turn, so I think it's going to start to go on him, but he might be able to use a rub off of that yellow. He just missed the rub, and so he talked, and so it doesn't change a whole lot.
No, it doesn't. Well, it does make the hole
just makes the hole a little skinnier, yep. Now, now I'm not so sure he can hit for 4. I think he has to spill in some direction, but I still think he can get through that hole and score at least 3.
I wouldn't enjoy trying to make that
no,
hole, though.
Not easy.
It's a tight hole. It's probably. Let's see if we can give you guys the overhead on the. Let's see. This should be Far House. There we go. That's a situation, as you can see. There's about a rock and a half between the Yellowstone up in the 12-foot that's just on the center line and the red stone. There's a red guard just off the camera right now, so it's a very tight hole that they have to navigate, and he has to do it with. I mean, Gilad could just kind of draw for the 1. Although that's not really any better. That's not any easier. It's harder, actually.
Draw where? The intern side?
Yeah, I don't know that's there either. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, basically he's got to thread the needle on this.
It's got to be at least control. I think maybe more.
Yeah, with the stones we had last year, this wouldn't be that hard because those stones went pretty damn straight. But with these stones that actually move,
his body's drifting, but he sent it up the middle.
He's coming up. He's got the sweepers on it.
Yes!
He's got the sweepers on it hard. He's past the top guard. Is he past the back guard? Nope. No, just chipped it just a little bit. Chipped his other one. That doesn't really matter. So, yep, Craig Markwardt steals his 1 in the first end. Which makes our score. It's not Johnson BRCC, it's Markwardt. I apologize. I don't know how I did that.
That's probably my fault left over from the last game.
I thought I fixed it all, but apparently I didn't.
Gilad seems in good spirits after that miss. We talked about that in the Johnson game when Johnson was sitting 5 and promoted the opposition and cut himself down to 2 with the hammer. Gilad skated back to the warm room glass, smiling. His team won't see it on his face that he's upset about that one. It was really a good throw. Just one of those things where you miss a little bit.
Yeah, it was practically, it was virtually, there was no meaningful hole there.
Gilad's got a good skip demeanor. When I came to this club last year, I was really a late entry. I wasn't totally sure I was staying down here. I'd just been hired full time, and I started off only in the men's league because that was the only opening. And very quickly after that, Gilad offered me a position with his team, and we had a really good time. He's got the demeanor to do this.
He does indeed. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Apologies. I'm not all that used to running the buttons over here, so I'm sometimes having to fumble to find the right cameras. But oh well. All right, we got it all going now. So he's at the wrong house. I have the wrong house.
How do we sound to you folks at home? Just a question about level. If anyone could chime in on the chat and let us know if we're both loud enough.
Now I have the right house. There we go. I think we're fine. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the chat people have been responding to what we've been saying, so obviously they can hear us. So
right. We have a soundboard here, but our meters are not really rising too much when we talk.
right, so we're in the second firsts.
Great, thanks
Everybody says
David,
we're
thanks
good.
Melinda.
All right, we're in the second lead stones of the end. Where did my note? There we go. Lori Betchker, or Lori von Flickinger, whatever, just brought that into the house. It's exposed on the outside, and looks like Gabe is planning on asking Wilson to hit it.
Yeah, Gilad likes a
clean game.
a very defensive game. He's patient. He'll wait for the opposition to make a mistake. When the opposition does, he'll be quick to call that aggressive draw. But right now with Wilson, who's fairly new to the game and is really just getting into the season. He was out of town for quite a bit, and this may only be his third game of the year. It's just do what's straightforward. However, Wilson seems to have sailed this
outside, one. Yeah. Okay, well, this is only Wilson's third season, and I'm not even sure that the first season should count because he only played in the second half, I think. So he's only got maybe 40, 45 games under his belt, which, you know, it's not a bad number. I mean, this is a good turn. This is a good Bonspiel for that. I mean, all good Bonspiels are good for that. But
so much of the game is just repetition. It's very much unlike ice hockey, which is what I played before I came to this. And in ice hockey, you don't just show up at the rink one night and forget how to skate. But you can come here and think you're a reasonably good player and just throw 20% and nothing's working right and you can't understand it. So it's not quite like you progress as a player very linearly, but the trend line you would hope goes up. There's some plateaus, there's some little dips, but you know, overall it's consistency. And if you get out here and practice and if you really work on a consistent draw game first and foremost, you'll progress as a curler. The hit game should always be there, but aim and touch are the names of this game.
Right. So Stacy Tetsko's first stone went back to the back 12. Who won the Michigan-Iowa game, by the way, David?
Yes.
Or who is winning? And Kyle Snyder's first stone. He's being asked to kind of do a hit and roll in. He's got the hit part. Did he put enough mustard on it to get that? Yes, he did. So he is currently sitting. Gilad is currently sitting shot just off to our left, your right, of the, actually no, I'm sorry, your left because we're showing the overhead, of the house, and in a good position. He's feeling good about where he is right now, I think.
Right, Craig is really allowing the play to stay in the center here. Well, I guess that makes sense for him, right? He's without hammer.
He doesn't have hammer. Yeah.
But so this is an attempt basically to shrink the scoring area on Gilad. It looks a bit up. You can't see the sweepers. Are we doing the split screen?
Yeah, it's split.
Okay,
but I've got the overhead. I don't have the sweeper.
They were jogging alongside of it as though it was heavy, and it really dug in, being out as far as it was. And really, all they got was a corner guard position out of it, which is probably not what Craig wants. I'm not sure. Now, to complete the thought that I had erroneously before, I'm not sure Gilad really wants to leave those center guards there.
No. I'd actually noticed during the previous game that on a lot of stuff, it felt like about 2/3 of the way down the sheet, it almost felt like it was getting gummy. So things were slowing down a lot at that point. It's like you felt like you had a 5-5-5-5-5-4-3-2. It was just you just had to account for it, and this is only the second end. First time they've come back this way, they're probably not accounting for it yet.
We're also 3 games after a scrape. Was there a scrape before the 4 o'clock draw?
That is correct. So yeah, it's the third
so
game.
So the pebble is starting to stack up.
Yep.
But as we talked about earlier, this is playing into Craig's hands here. All he needs to do is sink one. He doesn't. The onus is on Gilad at this point to manufacture, and all Craig has to do to ruin it all is just sink one well-paced draw or get one accidental wick, and he ruins all the hard work that the Kempenich father and son duo have put together thus far.
That's absolutely correct. It's one of the reasons I personally I prefer to play without the hammer. Honestly, it's easier for me because I'm just playing for one at that point, and it's an easier game almost in a lot of ways.
I feel like at the club level, it's absolutely true because the the hammer team really only gets one shot. If you're playing it textbook and you're trying to manufacture 2 or 3 with a corner guard, you only get one chance. The team without hammer can put up 2 center guards that are untouchable. If you miss with that first corner guard, if you sail into the house and the other team hits you out, you can put another one back, but they can just peel it.
Yeah.
And so how do you ever really get the cover you need, and the cover that also allows you a draw at the end of the end to get 2? So it's to play a strong hammer game at the club level requires a very strong club lead.
Yes.
When new curlers come out, they say, well, I'll just throw 1 and 2. I don't want to get in the way. I'm no good yet. But that's not really what it's about. When you get even to the medium levels, you want to put your worst player at second, really make them a takeout artist. The lead stones are so critical.
Yeah, because takeouts are easy. Well, easy. Air quotes.
Oh, I think they're
easier.
I make most of mine. Draws, not so much. I can throw a draw out the back with the best of them.
Yeah. And as everybody says about me, I've never seen a takeout I didn't like, so. Okay, so Galad's trying to figure out if he's got a way to manufacture a second one. Right now, it's a little challenging, actually.
He's thinking about a long in-off. He'll have to use an in-turn, but he's going to call an out-turn anyway, and so I'm not sure this roll could ever touch the house. If he gets over the nose of this rock and flops in, I mean, how exactly does this stone touch?
I don't think it gets there either. And I saw the Broom reaction. He believes that Enrique threw it a little bit outside.
This also doesn't seem like a ton of weight. Maybe they changed the call.
Maybe. Were they playing a pure draw maybe, or just kind of a general rub? That did not do anything that they were hoping to do.
And like we talked about in the previous broadcast, you saw there when the stone curled across the face of the rock and hit over nose, the handle direction or the rotation of the rock completely reverses.
Yeah.
And so your roll, as it were, or your bounce, is going to be more lateral across the sheet than deep or parallel to the sheet of ice.
Yeah, the irony being because of the way we have the cameras right now, the audience out there on the web has no idea what we just spent 5 minutes talking about because they can't see any of it. I should probably fix that. How do I fix that?
Oh, we have the aerial on.
Yeah, I have the overhead. Because it's easier to explain what's going on with the house sometimes, but
right, the rock that was hit was outside of view.
Was well outside the camera, yeah. Let's see here. Can I fix that? Of course, that's a way you can manufacture a second one. Throw a high hard one outside, take out the other 2, and be sitting 2. That's a strategy. It does the job.
Craig has 2 rocks left, and he's probably thinking that the red rock in the top 8 foot is a problem. And I think it is. I'm not sure you're going to get rid of that and roll anywhere productive. So now he's looking at the hit and flop on the outside one, which seems reasonable, but he's going at it with an in-turn. So I think any roll he gets is going to be to the back 8.
Yeah, but remember, he's playing since he doesn't have the hammer this end. So
right, he's got to clean up one way or the other.
Yeah, he's playing for a hold of 1, and that's what he's looking for right now.
I feel like if I was going for the steal, I might give the other handle.
Yeah.
Hold of 1 is good, but if he rolls too far, then Gilad just draws for his 2 anyway.
True. But he also maybe he is a some skips do try their darndest to avoid pushing out to the outside of the sheet. Because the more you angle, the harder it is for a lot of curlers. And he just wants to make sure of this hit. He's got this hit locked in, and a little bit of roll in, not enough to be behind cover, I don't think.
No, but what it does is it makes Gilad have to make a shot.
Yes.
And at the club level, that's 60% of it.
Yes.
B-shot rock, make Gilad do better with his roll.
Yep. And Enrique Enrique is calling the broom for exactly that. Stone is on the way. Enrique got the sweepers on it immediately. And nose hit. Enrique's back to 2.
But like we talked about earlier, he just sat in the same exact spot. So he didn't particularly outdo Craig. Now Craig really has a steal opportunity. If he throws this thing a little more down, you know, a little more controllable, and if he flops into that 4-foot again, 1 rock, and all of Gilad's best made plans are laid to waste.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically what he wants to do is he wants to cross over the face to about a quarter of the face of the stone and get just about, he wants to cut about, I'd say a foot to the inside. Right now the stone feels outside of the line to do that. He's going to roll, if he even makes contact, he's going to roll outside. All he did was push Gilad in. Gilad with the hammer has an open house draw for 3. The only challenge factor involved is the fact that he's only got the 1 turn, but there's plenty of space there. So that shouldn't be a challenge at all.
Despite the plethora of guards, Gilad still has the old adage, like, own half the ice. He doesn't have totally half a sheet, but he's got almost half a sheet, and he's got all he needs here. It's just going to be a matter of throwing the right weight.
Exactly.
He's got good brushers. Kyle Snyder has really come on this season for me on Sundays. He's really doing a great job. He's got a new balance plus light speed, and it seems to be working for him.
Nice.
So Gilad Kempenich from Wheaton, I believe.
I'm not actually sure.
His last stone in 2. I know he is a University of Maryland grad. I know he's from around here, which is a rarity in this area. The sweepers are right off. They haven't touched it. They're about to come into view, I think, or do we still have the overhead?
No, we got the overhead. Here it comes.
And I think it's going to hang on.
It's plenty. It's fine.
You can count them up.
Yes, I can. 1, 2, 3. So no controversy there in terms of the score. Gilad takes his 3, and that makes the score. Really?
I had the same problem multiple times. Hit enter. There you go.
I hit it twice. There we go. 3-1 in favor of Gilad's team. Samsung Explosion.
Why exactly are they the Samsung Explosion?
Because it's the Embassy Row, South Korea Bonspiel, and that's where they're based.
Fair enough.
I actually had the Galaxy Note 7 twice.
I'm sort of a Luddite. I do have a Samsung phone. It is a phone where you slide the display and get a keyboard. People think I'm crazy.
See, I love that was actually the reason I got the 7 was 2 things. 1, I love styluses. And 2, they had a thing you could get that you could clip onto it when you needed it or remove it when you didn't need it. That was a tactile real keyboard.
Yeah.
And it was great, and I loved it. And then the phone blew up. Mine didn't, but everybody else's did. So they recalled mine, and they were like, "Okay, we got this thing fixed, and it still works for your accessory." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, great, wonderful." And then those blew up. So now I have this, which is nice and all, but it's not what I'm looking for. And let's go. We're showing the far. Okay, it's backwards. It's the far column. Is that right? Okay, that's the far house. No, it's not right either.
Get a guard here. If you're a little deep, I'm very happy. Right here.
I did have to give the note back.
Sorry, folks, just trying to configure our views. I can say that Gilad and the red team have a really solid center guard. It's probably only 6 to 7 inches out of the house. Yellow has a corner guard, but it's pretty deep into the side. I'm not sure you can do much with it other than protect a biter.
All right, now we have the overhead and the zoom in again. We don't have the delivery cam. That's okay. This works.
Yeah, that next stone came to rest in a sort of center position, but kind of in what I call the lane. So I mean, it's not the greatest center guard.
Yeah.
It's staggered in the sense that it's hard to double peel, but
it's there, but it's not. But on the other hand, it looks like
Craig is called the center draw, which is a little unorthodox, being the hammer team.
Didn't get there.
No, they're way outside and deep.
Yeah, it looks like Laurie just kind of went a little wideish.
And here we talked about patience. This is Gilad's opportunity. He waited for that. He's got Kyle Snyder. Kyle Snyder's playing second today. He plays a lot of lead. He likes to play second because he likes to hit, but here he's being asked to come up with a big draw out of that position.
And while we got a second, quick update on the other semifinal on Sheet A. Melvin Shaw's rink is throwing red. They took 4 in the second end to open up a 4-1 lead over the Schultz rink from Pittsburgh, who's throwing yellow. And that game is also in the third end.
I'm not sure that team has kept the same lineup for any 2 games in a row in Responsibility.
Yeah, there's a reason I didn't actually say who was playing what position. I'm just labeling the team. Because, yeah, actually, Melvin is not actually skipping this game. Melvin is throwing something else, and that's
Adam Kapp throwing the second rocks. I think they're back to their original lineup, which is Nick Datlow at lead, Adam at second, Melvin third.
Well, actually, Nick's not even on the ice. Oh no, there he is. You're right. Okay, I'm sorry. Wrong Nick.
A lot of experience on that team.
Yes.
Nick Datlow, my Sunday league skip. Enjoy playing with him immensely. I like the way he thinks through every shot. He thinks about the penalties for over curl, under curl.
Absolutely.
He could maybe play a little faster, but
the entire club has actually had we've had a big problem with that during this Bonspiel. There have been an awful lot of games that have been cut at 7 ends because of the time clock. I mean, you know, the pace of play is always a problem in curling. And they actually have at the professional level, they actually have a quite draconian clock. You run out of clock, you lose.
It's the chess clock, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
It's changed to thinking time now. It used to be, it used to penalize teams that were more finesse because their rocks took longer to go down the ice, and now
now it's just thinking time. And actually, as an official, I prefer that 1,000 times easier because nobody gripes about the
right. And since they've gone to thinking time, I haven't really seen it come into play.
Not at the senior level. There's some junior games have had that problem, and some other club level stuff.
And it basically ensures that games are going to be over in 2.5 hours, even 10-end games. We're being joined by a production staff now on the broadcast.
Okay, apparently there were too many people complaining about the fact that I can't operate the darn thing, so
top webcaster Michael Dobbs is now at the controls, so you guys are going to get the best experience possible.
Yes. Be afraid. Be very afraid. I'm very afraid.
back to the game, Craig Markwardt sits shot, but he's in the back left quadrant, as it were, of the house. Well, no, he is the hammer team this end, and he hasn't really done a decent job of keeping the middle open for his final draw. So now, as we talked about last time, where all Craig needed to do was sink one, Gilad's got this pretty much the same situation. He's talking about a tap back. I think a draw is in play too. Gilad has a lot of options at this point, and it wouldn't even be the end of the world if Gilad gave up a point.
So, yep. So you'll notice a lot of blipping going on the screen. They're getting the system all set up, and we're joined on the audio now by Michael Sell.
Yes, thank you. Meant to be here for the beginning of the draw, but just coming off the ice as you were, had to broomstack a little bit.
Yeah. I on the other hand left my guys hanging because I don't like that. I bought the beer though, so it's all good.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's the important part of broomstacking.
Right. Yeah. So in 15 hours, I hate you.
Tonight
though, let's watch some good curling.
Oh, of course, yes. And so we see the little crash there and a little raise.
So now it's officially Potomac After Dark. Joined, as always, on the late draw on Saturday night, Bonspiels. Myself, Michael Sell.
Yes. Potomac Curling Club, After Dark.
After Dark. Watch the language, it'll get a little blue.
We're not going to get that blue. I'd say maybe
No.
PG-13 at the worst.
Barely that.
Yeah. I would just say it's really more just we start getting a little punch drunk and talk about things that aren't the game you're watching. But
Oh, you've been listening. We did a 5-minute riff on David Bankowski's eligibility for Jeopardy at the beginning of the first end.
oh, he hasn't been on yet, so he is still eligible.
Correct, but he can't play until March because he was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Correct,
Or-
and he was on the chase too. Oops, I switched that too early. Oh no, we didn't switch too early, just the camera's frozen on the far end. There we go.
So, what is our game situation? He asks questioningly. We have two stones bracketing the 4-foot. I'm going to say that Kempenich is shot, but I would be prepared to be wrong. Our lenses are not 100% centered on the center dot, and they're also a little bit fisheye. So
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's white between the Yellowstone and the 4-foot, and
it's
there's
an
not
angle
between
thing.
the red circle, but it's
an angle thing you couldn't possibly understand. So
I think if Gilad's thinking about plugging that gap, he's pretty confident that he's in the steal position.
Yes. And in case you hear it in the background, apparently karaoke is going to be beginning in the warm room. Our microphones are pretty good at being directional, but if you hear really bad singing, we apologize profusely.
I mean, it wouldn't be a South Korean Bonspiel without a little bit of karaoke.
Oh, absolutely. No,
The question is, will the songs be in South Korea?
why are they pulling that
Or
song?
Korean.
It might have hogged. It might have been burned. It was really tight at the end. I didn't really actually see what happened to it.
Okay, fair enough. So incidentally, if you're looking on the, you're not actually looking at the overhead. Never mind. So I'm looking at the overhead, and there is a guard.
Here, now you're looking at the overhead.
Thank
You
you.
still can't see guards, but
Yeah. So there is a guard just off screen. You actually see a little teeny tiny sliver of the top of it at the very top, but guarding the two yellows, the one red and one yellow stone, bracketing the 4-foot.
maybe get a little tap up. I hear this yelling tap up.
How is it going to be? It's tapping a little wide. It is no. It's the 3. It's the 3 stone.
Yeah, the way that was going, it could have gotten to about half into the 4-foot, but it just didn't have the steam.
You right? Just talk. Just talk, because otherwise you're not going to be able to do it.
Gilad in a little more danger with more yellows hanging around, but I think the play is still to plug up the center. If he's, I'm with Mike. I really think there's some white there in between the yellow and the 4-foot. They're looking at some sort of odd hit. I don't quite understand the benefit. They were sizing up.
behind?
They were sizing up for a second that yellow on the right side of the house, and now I think they're going to fill the gap again. They're just going to come at it the other way.
I have no clue if they. I don't actually think they were thinking about hitting that, at least not from the inside.
No.
Because you can't get there from here.
No.
Because there is a guard. It's off screen on the overhead, but it is on the angle shot. You see it. There's a guard guarding the inside of that stone perfectly.
I have to imagine they're trying to plug center, but they're not giving all the ice to get back to center. They're giving ice more like they're trying to bury underneath the yellow thing, the yellow that's guarding the edge of the 4-foot, almost like he's trying to draw in for 2.
Well,
yeah, I mean, there's room in the house to draw for 2, but I don't know if there's room in front of the house to get to the guards.
So, well, he's thinking about it.
See if we can tell by his slide.
Fairly pure slide.
Hard to
Seems
say.
a little heavy for any. Sweepers aren't on it. Hasn't started to break yet. Okay, here comes the break. The sweepers get on it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And the sweepers are off it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Is he going for the. No, he's trying to go through the port. He's
through the port.
But he's through the house.
I think he's too heavy.
Maybe?
Yeah, you think, well, no.
It's going to be second.
Not.
That'll be shot rock. No.
No. That is going to be third, it looks like, from my angle.
Agreed.
2 inches shorter, and that would have been beautiful. As it stands right now, it's irrelevant.
Craig will follow it, but this might be a mistake. If he gets all the way down to it, Gilad drops another one in there, and then the steal is a near certainty. He may not steal anymore.
Or the one force.
Right, but he won't steal anymore with the rock that's biting the 4, but he could with one that's corner frozen on 2 more rocks that may even touch a part of the button.
That's true.
Craig, this isn't a bad call for Craig, but he really wants to stay top 4.
Yeah, that's probably the line. Is he wants to follow that line, but he doesn't want to come all the way down to it. But if he has to, he has the backing and would be shot. But it wouldn't. It sets up the answer.
The stack, the stack, which admittedly would end up with Craig getting 1 probably. But when you have the hammer, you don't want 1.
And down by 2 already.
Right.
Yeah, when you're down 2 and you have the hammer, you got to take your opportunity to try to get a 2.
But I don't think I've seen a purposeful peel attempted in this entire match.
No. Every single stone that's out of the house has been I don't think he's past the top guards.
No.
I think he threw this wide.
Nope, this is gonna crash on that.
Crash. What happens with the pinball? Just pinball action up front. Nothing important. So at the moment, pending review by the people who actually are standing on top of the stones, Gilad has 1. Markwardt is standing with the 2nd stone, and Gilad has the 3rd stone. Markwardt has the 4th stone, but that's...
Yeah.
Again, I think Gilad has license to be aggressive here. He may as well try the exact same thing. It doesn't follow the exact same line. He has to be a little more on center as he gets through that guard area, but, I mean, it's definitely an option.
What that did do is there's no more guards stacked on top of each other. Everything is 1 layer now.
True
and so both teams have runbacks. Red has a raise that's tight center guard that can run in, and yellow has the 2 to the right. Either one of those could raise either into the 4-foot or to tap something up.
And this probably explains why the Kempenich father and son combo are spending a goodly amount of time trying to think about their way through this.
Folks, we may get drowned out. Bon Jovi is on the karaoke right now, and it's not just the guy with the microphone singing.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I think I'm going to join. Oh, living on a prayer.
Oh, I'm not drinking nearly enough alcohol for this.
And like we said, or like Alan was saying, this is Potomac Curling Club After Dark,
where anything can happen. I do mean anything. I'm surprised there haven't been any teams breaking out the broom shooter yet.
Oh, no, that actually just happened like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, did it? I missed it? Oh, darn.
It was actually the Kirkman's room.
Oh. All right, Gilad's doing his slide. He's delivered based on the broom. I think he's playing...
Whoops, I switched that way too early. Sorry, folks.
Tap. Up.
I think if he was going to straight draw, he would have went in turn. I think he's thinking about tapping that red.
He's going to rub off. He's certainly going to rub off the red. What's going to happen after the rub?
He's going to rub the red and split just across the 12-foot.
That stone changes nothing.
Opens a big
In
port.
fact,
The
that's
shot
right.
Does
rock
open
is
a big
exposed
port.
now.
That is true.
That's right. He gave Craig his 2 back, potentially.
Craig's 2, and I mean, if you can make the angles happen here at 3,
you're right.
2 is definitely likely or more likely. But if you can roll off of the top one and hit the back one,
the angle
double
for 3
is
definitely there with these stones. Yeah. Last year, no. This year, it's definitely a possibility.
He only needs to move the top one a foot to the left.
Yeah.
He trims that, hits about 1/8 of a rock, and he has no choice with an out turn but to drop directly on top of that red in the back. That's almost in the back 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's the angle it's going to be. If he gets the hit on the top with what he's calling, I mean, that's where the stone's going to go. There's no guesswork there. He doesn't have to do anything.
I mean, this is only like the second or third most obnoxious song that I hate playing in bars. I mean, it could have been Journey. So
The night is early, Mike.
Yeah, there is still plenty of time. And actually, it's so loud. The players on the ice have actually been looking back in the warm room with the what the hell?
yeah, I'm sure we're rattling the windows here.
And that's what you get for being in the CFED semifinals.
Although I will say that while there were some different timing issues with meals and stuff with this draw schedule, whoever put it together, I am definitely glad that it didn't result in the 9 a.m. Sunday draw. I think the C event semis being late night is fine. You get up, you lose, you don't have to come back tomorrow.
Exactly.
You win, you come back at noon like everybody else.
And yes, they're out there. Melinda, yes, beer has been definitely involved in this singing.
Okay, I just switched to the near cam, and there's no one in the hack. I'll switch back to the far.
The sweepers are
this
on it
is
really
actually-
hard,
yeah,
but
this is
he's
actually
not going to
the
hit it
hat-
thin enough.
No,
He took
gave
out
Galad the second
shot
one.
himself.
He gave Galad 2.
Yeah.
So what we ended up with is Galad takes 2. Samsung Explosion is up 5-1 after 3. Actually, Melinda, I don't think just beer is involved. I think there may actually be some harder stuff as well. Actually, I virtually guarantee it. Tell Mark if he needs to, I can come get him and drive him home.
Well, luckily for now, Melinda, Mark is still seated. He is not rushed to take the microphone, but he is mouthing the words along to Bohemian Rhapsody right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mark is definitely taking it a little bit easy. He was sampling some of Courtney's spiced rum that she bought from a distillery that just opened in Washington, D.C. today.
Oh, wow.
So it's a numbered bottle, and it says batch number 1. So I would like to think that after that's empty, that's a little bit of a collector's item, but what do I know? I know that the rum inside is okay.
If it just opened today, how is the rum ready?
I'm guessing it's not aged.
At all. Or who knows? Lord only knows.
Or it's been aging for a while and they opened it to sell the stuff. I don't know. She did also mention there's a few distilleries. There's like 5 within like a mile of her place in D.C.
There's probably lots of people in
And there's
D.C. thinking drinking is a really good idea at the moment.
And there's a couple places she even said, like, oh, yeah, there's one place that's trying to be a rye distillery, but, that has to age. And so they've made some, but they're not selling it yet.
Right. And so Lori Betchker's being asked to draw in behind the guard that Wilson Coe put up way up as a 1 guard.
And it is in the house.
And it's going to bite. Actually, it's not even just a bite. It's like half.
Yeah, that's
I think. I don't know. I can't see. I'm changing. There we go.
Most of the way in and fairly lined up with the guard.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice down.
For as high as the guard is, that's a pretty good draw being high in the house.
So Wilson Coe, I believe he's just being asked to kind of draw and do a little bit of tap action on that, or just.
And so, do we have which team is which over on A? Or we've announced that.
Melvin Shaw's team, which is actually Nick Daklow's team, is red. They apparently took 3 in the third to open up a 7-1 advantage. over the Schultz rink from Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I was like over the other team, but then the draw is above my head. The 6 TV is a great idea.
Yes.
A lot of skips on that team. I think Dauernheim is taking a turn at it right now.
There's a few teams. The team that I just played, Nick Smith and Courtney Shaw, definitely occasionally suffered the too many skips problem, but that just happens. You get a lot of experienced curlers, and everyone's got a shot call. So my team itself even happens. There's 4 of us.
Is it gonna roll all the way out? No.
It rolls enough. It is
but
not
it
shot.
does roll enough. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my team itself, even there's 4 of us, and in other leagues, 3 of us are skips. There's one guy who's just like, nope, don't care. I'm going to be second, and it doesn't matter.
But only one of you with Swiss League experience.
That is true. Yes, one of us does have international play, and I don't mean Gina Bonspiel. I mean, he has played in leagues in a foreign country.
There you go.
And he told me that in Switzerland they play 8 games in like an hour and a half. I don't know how they do it. But he told Dobbs and I that, Michael Dobbs and I, because we were, at the time when he moved to Switzerland, notorious for being slow calling shots. Yeah. And so he just let us know what the sort of other way to do that was. And I still don't believe him, but that's what he said.
No, a good chunk of it's just being ready when it's your turn. Right? You lose so much time with the, okay, we got to sweep and I got to get set in the hack and all this kind of thing. And you can be doing that while the other stone's rolling. You don't care. It's the skip's job to see what's going on with the stones. Yep.
With that, the red draw comes down on the center line.
It is probably shot.
I can't tell from the overhead cam. From the overhead cam, it kind of looks like the yellow might still be more in, but that far to the fringe of the camera is really fish-eyed.
Yeah. But it's also right on the center line, so the likelihood, and exposed, so the likelihood of it actually being in play at the end of this end in that position, acceptably slim.
There does not appear to be any handle on this whatsoever.
If anything, it's backwards.
Yeah.
It's falling off. I don't know if she just did a bad push. Something went horribly.
That is going to be out of bounds.
Something went horribly wrong there.
That's a violation.
It would have been a great 12-foot draw on sheet C. Unfortunately, she's playing on sheet B.
Really matters. Nothing really matters.
Oh, Melinda has confirmed. Yes, they don't stop to think. It's true. 90 minutes and done.
Yep. Bohemian Rhapsody on the karaoke, everyone.
I guess if curling is chess on ice, as some people compare it to,
play speed chess.
Then they play blitz. Yes.
Yes.
So I'd imagine they have to be a takeout game all the time. I'm like, how do you not think?
Well, I mean, they think a little.
Yeah.
That's not, they don't do like everybody in the United States does. Like, well, we could do this, we could do that. Yeah. They only think like 1 shot deep as opposed to like 4 shots deep. And that's a little tappy action. Okay, now the red stone is definitely shot.
Yes, so both are definitely 1 and 2. We've got, I don't know if that's applause or what sort of gesture that is from the ice shed to the warm room about the karaoke.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure. I don't know that I want to know, to be honest.
It's fantastic. You can brush my hair.
And now we've got Barbie Girl.
Of course we do. This feels too hot to curl enough to do what they want to do with it.
Too hot for curling.
Well, actually,
they're going to get the outside, and they're going to get a little flop. They're going to get a lot of flop.
They're actually going to get a lot of flop. They're going to roll all the way over. All the way over to be exposed on the other side.
That is still going to be shot stone, I think.
It is. Probably, but it's also crazy exposed.
Yeah, I mean, by the rules, that is now the shot stone. But to call it relevant is...
Well, it's relevant.
It's relevant now.
It's making Galad have Henrique throw at it.
Henrique seemed upset his last time down the ice. He flung his mittens at the glass.
I'm assuming that was a discussion of the quality of the karaoke.
That's what I thought it was. It may have just been a discussion of the curling.
Henrique's only got to get about a quarter of this. He might roll out, or he might roll over to the other side.
Center and
a little past center.
Overpass.
Little overpassed. Hurt.
And that one is still shot stone, but even further from the pin now.
Yeah.
Full 12.
There is no question that the curlers can hear this. Second, Kyle Snyder is standing beyond the near hog line, looking back into the warm room with a look of bemusement and disbelief on his face that he hears strains of Barbie Girl flying forth from the warm room.
All I can say is I have never been happier to have double-ear headphones in my life. And that was just too wide and too hard and just two. Just two.
As they said in Major League, too high, right?
Yeah.
Just a bit outside.
How can these guys lay off pitches that close?
Exactly.
So now Gilad is in the Castle Building Enterprise, although he doesn't have a rock in a strong steal position. He has nothing touching the forefoot, but I think he thinks it's enough if he just creates enough of a wall and force an error from Markwardt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like you were saying a couple ends ago, just make the other team throw a shot.
He moves on whether Craig makes a shot or not. He moves on either 5-2 or 6-1. I think he'd be okay with being 5-2 halfway through the game and taking the runner into the fifth.
Absolutely.
And that, I don't have a camera that can cover that. Oh, there it goes. It just comes into view on the far cam.
Yeah,
just over the hog line.
It's like 2 feet over the hog line, on the center line. I guess that was what he had in mind.
It does guard both red stones that are in the house and first and second shot. So, it's
way too tall to really guard the one that's in the back house.
I don't think he took away the draw lane that he wanted to, but at the end of the day, Craig is not showing any desire to break tendency here. He keeps the play in the middle of the ice the entire time. It's going to be really, really hard for him to generate 2 points.
And especially if this is as short as I think it is.
It's going to get to the house. It's going to get to maybe bite the 4. Oh, no, it's not even going to get to the house.
No, it's not.
Oh, wow.
It's short of the house.
I saw that at least sort of biting 8, but no.
No, that's short.
What it is a tap-up candidate.
It is definitely a tap-up candidate, although it looks like Gilad is getting ready to I'm not sure if he's going wide enough to try to draw behind it or if he's going to try to put something in front of it to prevent the tap-up.
Yeah, I wouldn't also be surprised if, they're definitely not setting up for peeling it, and I guess you wouldn't want to just because of the risk of hitting the 2 you have in. But
that's right, Melinda. Melinda has the right idea.
Skip does all the thinking. It's not a democracy. Hey, Melinda, would you do me a favor? Would you call the entire rest of my team and tell them that? Yes, in fact, Hotel California. You are absolutely correct. Well played.
That's really well heard that you could spot that over the stream. Dave Bykowski points out one of the best karaoke songs done very badly. And isn't really that half the point of karaoke?
That's the
if
whole
you're doing
point of
the
karaoke.
songs well,
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And looks like Gilad is just trying to put one in front and take the promote that we were discussing out of the realm of possibility. And I think this stone is going to accomplish that goal.
Kyle Snyder with some really good broom lean. I mean, he grips it really high on the shaft of the broom, but it seems like he's getting good downward pressure, and he's carried that into a nice position.
Yeah.
He's got his bottom hand sort of what you might call backwards. It's sort of over the top, almost like hoeing the garden, but it's somehow allowing him to keep his shoulders above the center mass of the whole thing and sweep really effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree, Melinda, that it is very loud because, as Alan pointed out, we're all wearing full over-ear headphones here at the commentary desk, and it's just blasting right through them.
Yeah,
it's as if they're standing right behind me. Well, they are.
Well, they are actually technically, yeah.
But I think they've got an amplifier on or something that is really not needed in this small room. And a lot of bass. I can sort of feel that in the table.
Yeah. And Craig wants more ice. I think he got more ice. Craig
wants a lot of things right now.
Yeah, that's true. And possibly to restart this game. Because right now at the moment, Gilad is sitting 2, the Samsung Explosion. And really all Craig's got it is an attempt to draw in. And I feel like that's
really wide and heavy.
Wide and heavy, which are the 2 worst things to do in a draw.
Well, to do together at least. If you're wide and light, it'll come back, and if you're narrow and heavy, it'll just take a different line.
And yeah, instead of the button draw he was hoping for, that was a foot past T line or foot past back line. Which doesn't matter if it's an inch past the back line or a mile past the back line, it's past the back line.
And yes, as Baiko points out, the game on A has ended.
Been shook.
I did not see what the score in the fourth was, but it was 7-1 after 3, and I can only imagine it was more points for red, or else there wouldn't have been a handshake.
I'm assuming. So, apparently they just wanted to get in and enjoying the karaoke.
I mean, how could you blame them, he says incredulously.
I can think of about 50 different ways I can blame them.
Maybe they were just trying to get back to the bar. That is reasonable.
So there's one game going on, conveniently enough. We've got it. We've got it under control.
There we go. Here's your bonus coverage, and we don't even have to move the cameras
Exactly.
for it. This will be the last game of the night.
Exactly. And since it started so early, the odds on it going past midnight, virtually 0.
Yes, so only one of these teams will make Sunday.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, if Gilad sinks this draw behind that yellow,
then this
Craig
game
does the same thing, they're going to be racing to the karaoke stand.
Yeah, the karaoke could be started at 10:15. He's calling this for a lot of movement. All right, it's up. It feels a little hot to me, but I don't know. It's very wide. I don't see it coming back on this line either. And, of course, the stone's about to prove me wrong because it's going to be short and it's going to come back.
Yeah, the lines are really weight sensitive that what I've seen. And so if you're soft enough, they will curl, but you really have to be touchy. And that is, it's going to block the line, I guess.
Yeah, it blocks the draw, so it's forcing Craig to throw the draw on the other side of the sheet.
I want to say the handle came off at the end. If they were really thinking they could have got full 12 with that, it wouldn't have hurt them from a hit and roll standpoint.
No,
it would have put
massive
amount of pressures on Craig with his draw.
Yep, because Craig is already down. 5-1, facing 2. Best he's going to do here is manage the draw to get him to 1.
And now we've got Thriller.
Thriller. Who's doing the Michael Jackson? Actually, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I will not tell you that.
Oh, thank you. So the stone is on its way. Craig's looking to try to draw past everything. He's got his sweepers on it kind of hard. I think he's past the guard. Question is he? Yeah, he's way past the guard. Question is he going to be able to bury? Okay, he's successfully gotten himself to where he is shot.
That is the hammer.
But, oh, that was the hammer. Okay, never mind then. So that's the shot stone, so he takes his 1 to cut the gap to 5-2. I'm sorry, I thought Gilad had a response. I don't know why.
Oh, God.
I'm being assaulted by sound.
I looked at who was doing it, and I shouldn't have, because now I know.
See, now
you said not to tell you, and I won't tell you.
Please don't.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're being asked, who the hell is that, Mike? So would you please share?
Oh, I will share. The person I saw doing the Thriller was, as you can hear the crowd chanting, it is Michael Dobbs.
That was Dobbs?
That was Dobbs. He has actually a fairly wide vocal range.
Yeah, all the way from C to D. Which actually for karaoke is really all you need.
That's all you need, yeah.
Gilad wasted no time. He is going to clean this up.
Yeah, he does not have the range of Michael Jackson. Nobody does. Well, nobody doing karaoke at a curling club does.
Yeah.
Yep. Sweep it, fellas.
So, yeah, up 3 with hammer, 5th end. If it's in the house, hit it. Although this is kind of catching a curl. This might
Melinda
go
asked
outside.
if he's doing the dance too. I think he might have been, but I wasn't watching.
Another great scrub by Enrique Kempenich
But
and Kyle Snyder, and
He
they
has
held it.
passed the microphone, and we've got another broom shooter.
Oh, good.
It was the Courtney Shaw ring.
Yes,
with Nick
Courtney
Smith,
and
Laura
Nick
Yee.
and Laura and Julie, I think, is their other person's name. Julia.
Did they succeed? They did succeed.
They did succeed, yes.
I did
That
not
was
see
a-
alcohol all over their fronts.
That was a
so, right.
successful broom shooter. Brooms have been shot.
Come March,
'Cause
in
there's-
Cherry Blossom, the Columbus contingent will show up, and their team is called Team Broom Shooter. They bring their own with them, and they do one before every game.
I
You know, you
I
need
look forward to
that
that.
liquid draw weight sometimes, you know?
Hey.
Whoops. Switch camera.
Melinda, no, I don't think he was dancing, but Spencer Stevens was doing the dance. It was a serviceable job.
That works.
Spencer Stevens, purveyor of fine sustenance during this entire tournament.
Yep. Shout out and thank you to get it on the recording here to Spencer Stevens, proud Korean American. Definitely brought us a nice little taste of Korean culture and cuisine here
Absolutely.
for the weekend, and it was a good time for everybody.
It was.
Right, and this is the third annual Embassy Row Bonspiel. It follows themes of Italy and Bavaria, and Spencer is a Korean adoptee.
Really? The third one? Wow. Feels like it's been so many more.
So at his urging, we used a South Korean theme this year to make the Potomac Curling Club into Seoul for a weekend.
You guys need a sound. I'm not sure what my wife is saying, but that's okay. Hi, honey. I'll be home. Soundproof booth. Yeah, okay. Right, we'll get right on that. At the moment, not even the ice shed is a soundproof booth. I think the folks on the ice are being more entertained by the karaoke than the curling in some ways.
And that is now Courtney Shaw and Laura Yee doing the Spice Girls.
When we were curling outside, we had homemade schnapps sitting on the bench with small plastic shot glasses forever was called. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're curling outside, you should be drinking. And Galad's asking his second to make another hit, and looks like that's going to occur. Enough of a roll inside. He's, excuse me, he's sitting shot. So now Stacy Tetsko being asked to hit that, I assume.
Awful lot of ice.
And she pushed it outside of the broom. It was a generous broom to begin with, and she pushed it outside of it. I don't see this come. Well, although it is maybe it's a draw behind rather than a hit.
If it's a draw behind, it's going to need to put on the brakes really hard because this is like hack weight.
Yeah, I think she just pushed it on the release, and wasn't
Not as
quite
much as I
hack,
thought. No, it's
but
definitely out the back line.
it was
but
too much. Yeah.
Oh, and even with Gilad, a career skip sweeping, he was able to get that out the back. Gilad not known for the broom. His brother Gabe much better on the slider.
Hey. A skips can in fact sweep. You just choose not to.
He didn't say skips can't. He just said that
Just Gilad.
Gilad had just not known for it like his brother Gabriel is.
Fair enough.
I did call it skip sweep. Gilad deserves a little good-natured ribbon.
And Gabriel definitely is solid on the broom.
Yes. I'm mildly surprised he's not playing this weekend. Where's he?
He could be prepping with Team Israel.
Yeah,
Not
that's
sure. Oh, it is the middle of November. That's a very good possibility. Last year at this time, they went up to Toronto for a one-day, three-game points spiel, and it's
Right.
against pretty good competition. A lot of the teams that go to that are preparing for the Ontario Masters Division and things of that nature.
The big events, right?
And we talked earlier about Wilson having played 45 games and having so many rocks under his belt. I've played against guys in Toronto at that same tournament who have probably thrown 10,000 more rocks than I have. And they just never, ever throw the wrong weight. Obviously, they're in their late 60s, early 70s, and you think, well, crushing won't be a factor. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And not quite out. So the Samsung Explosion has a stone just hanging out in the back of the 12-foot. It's about 3 inches in the back of the house. There is much giggling going on. Much giggling. So for those of you who may have just joined us, because I see our chat pinged, this was the 2 C event semifinals. The one on A is already over because after 4 it was, let's just say, out of control. So the Shaw rink has booked their place in the C event finals. The game we're watching right now between the Kempenich rink, calling themselves Samsung Explosion, and the Markwardt rink is to find out who will face them in the C, joining the 2 teams that have already booked their places for the A event, B event, and D event finals, which will be all at noon tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat station.
Well, not same bat time.
Not same
it's
bat
tomorrow
time,
at noon.
actually. Yeah,
Yes.
good point. Same bat station, different
Yes.
bat time.
I don't exactly know the conversion from bat time to UTC.
It's plus 4.5 hours unless Commissioner Gordon blinks the little light thing.
That's good to know.
Yes.
Because I know daylight savings just ended, and it's very confusing.
Yeah, exactly. What time is it now? 3 a.m.? What?
It's now Tuesday, I believe, is what happened. I think they've just set the clock back 4 days or something is how it
I'd be
works.
okay, well, I'd be okay if it was Tuesday. Yes, the light thing. Give me a break, Melinda. Do I look like a geek? Don't answer that.
But here we see Yellow has thrown a fairly nice weight draw shot. You can't tell on the overhead camera because you can see the guards, but it is not really under the guards, though.
No.
If I put it back on this camera, you could probably see that it's about at least half exposed, maybe about 2/3 to 3/4.
And, yep, and Galad is asking Henrique to do something about that. What is that song? Actually,
It's Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, but it's
Yeah.
hard to tell
Sure.
because it's more like.
And actually, Henrique has flipped this to the outside, and actually, I think he's going to accidentally take out his one in the back. Yep.
There it is. Yep, splits it off the back. So Craig now has a little bit of an opportunity to either push that further under the guard or cover it. One or the other would be great right now, if not both.
I think pushing it under the guard because he's got to get some points going here.
Yeah,
'cause
he
he's-
definitely wants to try to steal this end after only getting
Yeah,
one last end.
exactly.
And pushing that to the button or thereabouts would
is
be a really
probably
great
his right
shot.
answer, yeah. I actually wouldn't mind pushing it all the way across to where it was between the red and the yellow that's over on the left-hand side. You know, push it way over.
Yeah, that could work too. Anything to just get it under that wall of guards, because right now
Yeah.
it's not.
Right.
And
long as you can leave it high.
and I do understand putting it just right under both reds just leaves either kind of raised takeout. So getting it
Right.
further across the house might be a better
Yeah,
plan.
because yeah, exactly. And this is Craig's first stone, right? Yes. This is Craig's first stone at the end.
And now we've got a tambourine.
They've broken out the tambourines on the karaoke. Can you imagine what would have happened if we'd had a 10:30 p.m. draw? More like drunk screaming cats stuck in the mailbox. Yeah, I'll give that. I'll go with drunk screaming cats. in the
Yeah,
mailbox.
having never put a cat in a mailbox, surprisingly. Can't confirm that, but I certainly cannot deny that.
I'm guessing it's no better than a cat carrier. And I know whenever our cat goes in the cat carrier, it's, yeah. It's not a happy time. So Craig looks like looks. I don't know what Craig was trying to do there, and what he's going to accomplish is nothing. He leaves a very high guard well outside of what he had in mind. So Galad has an opportunity to just kind of clean this up. Please tell me you're drunk, David, and there was not such a thing as Tambourine Hero for the Wii.
I can't. Yeah, here's the thing. It's such a good joke at the moment that I actually can't remember if it was or not, because it definitely could have been.
I know. That's a scary thing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping like hell it's not.
Because I know there was that GameCube game where you play a little set of bongo drums, and I definitely had a few raucous nights in college playing that. And again, like this karaoke here, it wasn't raucous because the game was so fun. It was raucous because of what else we were doing alongside of it.
Yeah, which I'm guessing probably involved at least adult recreational beverages and Lord knows what else.
I wouldn't put it past him. There's actually a PC game called Street Cleaner Simulator.
Oh, those simulator games. There's a game called Goat Simulator.
There is a game called Goat Simulator where you're a goat in a field.
And ram your head off the fence. And
yes,
things
you
like
do.
that.
Yeah, and like Euro Truck Simulator is really popular.
This, I don't think Galad's going to roll out on this, although I don't think he really wanted to, so that's not really a problem.
Yep, he's got the hit, and he just sits there in the top 12.
There in the top 12.
That's definitely blocks the port in for Craig to get back to the forefoot. So the steal at the moment off. Not unavailable, just not on at the moment.
Not likely, yeah.
I mean, there's still the promote possibility from the left side.
Which is what he's looking at right now.
But red controlling the house and red controlling most of the front of the house now, too. Yellow only having 2 guards and really only one particularly useful.
And the game at the moment, up 3.
Yes, red controlling the house, red controlling the front of the house, and red controlling the scoreboard.
They're controlling the horizontal, they're controlling the vertical. They are going complete outer limits, in fact.
Yes.
They're not controlling the karaoke. That's about the only thing they're not controlling.
Right, and so really, if they're controlling the horizontal and they're controlling the vertical, I'm going to switch metaphors here and say that yellow needs to try to get the center square for the block.
Wow, okay. Well played, I think. That'd be Paul Newman, wouldn't it?
Depends on which version.
That's right.
I remember the sort of 2000s version with Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a little older than that.
That's fine. Everyone loves Hollywood Squares, just everyone has different versions of it.
Exactly. Wasn't Paul Newman anyhow. It was Paul somebody else. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Okay. What is relevant is what Craig Markwardt is trying to do to the stone that's currently in the house.
Doesn't appear to be trying the promote.
Whoa, that's going to go poorly. He fell on the release, in case you didn't see that, and he shoved that way outside. Although, actually, surprisingly enough, he might actually play this via.
They should sweep.
Would you rather be lucky than good any day?
It the hard
you
way.
would.
Look at
Although
that.
it's going to roll through the house and just outside on the other side. Okay.
Yep. I couldn't actually see where that ended up. Someone's in front of it, but here's the overhead. It's not in the house.
It's not in the house, unfortunately. So that was terrible,
and then
terrible,
it was amazing. And
terrible,
then
and then amazing, and then unfortunate all at once. And what we are left with is a totally empty house for the hammer. I'm going on the assumption that Galad intends to blank.
I wouldn't actually be surprised if he just takes a 1 here. He's already up 3.
I'm looking at the handle and broom that his father is holding, and that's a blank line.
That is a blank.
That is a blank line.
That is, I believe, either the blank end or he has called for the intentional walk, which I guess is a blank end.
Which is a blank end, yeah.
Yes. Now he's even moved the broom further
on the outside,
and he believes he's calling for a draw to the button on sheet C.
I'm going to go out on a limb and bet that this will be a 4-point shot for Galad. I think this is through the house, exactly as called. We have what we in the business refer to as a blank end with extreme prejudice. Which Galad is now running to the restroom, I assume? I guess so. Okay, so while we begin the sixth end.
And karaoke has now converted over to Metallica with the decidedly not hard rock voice of Todd Moyer.
Yeah. I can think of people who I would rather who I'd be more believing singing Metallica than Todd Moyer? I can think of a lot of them, actually.
A lot of them even in this room.
Surprised nobody's broken out anything from the Billy Joel catalog yet. Your statement is correct, Melinda. You have our apologies. Actually, David, I would give you a better chance on this song than Todd. Not much of one, but...
Yeah, Melinda says Metallica meets Broadway, and that's not a bad idea. Todd also is a brass player, so I'm a little surprised he didn't just break out like the tuba or whatever he actually plays and did the sort of big band remix.
Right. Yeah, Metallica. They should crack out a Metallica Broadway. You know, the catalog of Metallica, kind of like Billy Joel had Moving Out. ABBA had
Jersey Boys and Mamma Mia.
Jersey Boys, ABBA and Mamma Mia, a couple others. So, and this is looking like it just wants to be a peel, and it has great appeal to Gilad at the moment. Who, speaking of which, is rejoining us on Sheet B. I have time when I'm done with the broadcast to break out the Billy Joel catalog. Yeah, I don't think so, sweetie. I got to get some sleep because I got to play at noon tomorrow. I know I don't usually have to, but I have to this time, so it's a thing. In your closet, in your head, exit 9. Take my hand. And that's a much better guard, if only because it's actually a guard.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a guard. What rock are we on, though? Does it matter that that's a guard?
That's the only number 2 of the
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's... So yeah, there's one more. There is one more.
Oh yeah, red still has the hammer, so that is only the third rock at the end. So that is they still
that
a
is
free
still
guard.
free guard.
Yeah.
Wilson Kobe and has to draw to the side 12. Gilad really doesn't want to mess with guards at this point. Even with hammer, it's sort of a defensive end for him. He's very... I'm actually surprised he blanked last end. I would have been happy to take a point and move on up 4.
Yeah, I mean, it was either way. I mean, you generally don't mind blanking with the hammer, but in this case, I think just like Craig has shown that even with the hammer, he's not getting a lot done, and so it would have been defensible to just take your one. Or take his one.
Sure.
So either way, I don't think it was a wrong call.
So, but that shot did not make the house, so it's
no,
also
so that is now a corner guard, yeah.
And Craig's looking to come around from the other side, trying to get back to the center line behind his tall center line guard. Asking Stacy Tetsko to make that happen. Sweepers are on it. It is coming back. Does it have the length to make the house? Well, the sweepers got off it, so I guess they think so.
It looks like it does, but it's close.
It's going to be full 12, actually. And pretty much back to the center line. It's not completely buried. It's about half buried.
Now, if I were still playing for Gilad, I'd be begging him to peel that top one. I understand you probably can see half of the yellow in the house, and this is what he's going to try to do.
He's going to take the back. Well, he's going to take the back one, and if he overcurls and peels the top, he doesn't mind.
But if he sails completely,
and if you peel the if you clear the inside one, it just lets them put it back and maybe bury it. So again, I don't hate the call because, I mean, the one in the house is the one that's threatening you. But
well, actually, what I would be a little bit concerned about is popping the yellow into that red guard and then having it roll in.
Well, he could have always gone in turn if he was
which
really
actually
just
might
directly
be
trying to peel.
Yellow into red, and it doesn't roll in, but it does get very close to the house.
Yeah, and now if Craig puts a... Craig's going to put the guard back because
hate that because he does technically have the shot stone at the moment, but I would almost rather play maybe a tap here to push the one that's in the top 12 in and then sit on top of it. But the guard is fine. He does want something on the center line to try to steal this end.
Yeah, because he needs to steal desperately. He's starting to run out of ends. There's only 3 ends left in this game, and that assumes that they actually go all 8. I don't actually know what the actual official cut time on the game is. Last draw of the night, I don't know if there actually is a cut time.
I imagine that there is, but they'll be probably a little lenient with it like they were for some of the other games.
Gilad has a double peel all lined up here. He just hits the outside of that
This
yellow.
could be, yeah. This could be, this could be all kinds of hit.
And I think he's approaching it from the wrong side.
I tend to agree with you.
So now we've got double karaoke. We have The Lion Sleeps Tonight in the warm room, and we have Dave Bykowski chatting Piano Man to us.
Piano Man. I think I would have come the other way also.
He's narrow, and they're going to be on it immediately.
Yes, he is. And it's not going to...
It's going to stick.
Yeah, it's gonna just crack right in the middle of the... Actually, it didn't even crack in the middle of it. It just took out the back. Just took out the first one. So that accomplished absolutely nothing that he had in mind.
Yeah, Craig still have an opportunity here. He needs to try to capitalize on that miss.
If I'm Craig, I think I tap that yellow back to like the 8-foot, try to just do it gently enough to be behind the red, or even if I scoot a little bit outside the red, that's fine, because that would make it really hard for Gilad to take both out with one stone. Paul is a real estate novelist here. Paul, not Bill. Nice try, though. Oh, Lord. Is it really YMCA?
Yes,
it is really YMCA.
Sam Sparks, ladies and gentlemen.
Not much of a slide or anything on this delivery.
No,
I really don't know where the stone is going.
I think this was what we referred to in the business as a delivery error. Although it is going to be in the house.
It's going to have draw weight maybe
It's
here.
going to be a back 8 house split kind of thing. Actually, that's deep enough so the hit on that probably... Oh, my God. I'm sorry. My cat is very lucky, David. He's deaf.
Oh, and that's actually a good point. When I have this particular camera on, you can actually see the fans doing the YMCA dance.
Oh, Lord,
in the warm
can you?
room.
Yes, you can. That's funny. Do we have the commentator cam? We don't have commentator cam.
No, we don't have the
darn.
commentator cam.
It's probably a good thing, because I'm actually considering breaking out the YMCA, because why not?
Yeah,
All right.
I agree. Why not? There's
Enrique
a few
is
reasons not to, but they're not important.
Yeah, Enrique's looking to make the hit, and is he gonna?
He's got contact,
Yes,
but I think
okay.
he's going to spill out. But I don't think he cares. Yep, there it is. Wow, you can. We've got some solid audio-visual equipment here going on. A lot of detail you may have missed on some of our old webcasts.
See, I actually spent, when I was just out of grad school in Omaha, Nebraska, I spent 2 summers as a vendor at Rosenblatt Stadium, the minor league baseball park for the Omaha Royals, and also where the College World Series is played.
Okay.
And the vendors had a rule. In the middle of the 6th inning, they played YMCA. We had to put down our stuff and do the YMCA.
Boy, there's just not a lot of movement off that line at any kind of weight. That's the second
Not at
straight
all.
draw for Craig's team that just hung there and went to the same spot, and Enrique's hit hung out there too, which
Yeah,
was
so
a
I'm
little
wondering if
more
that's-
expected.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that side of the ice is just kind of got a groove going.
Yeah, the first one it was hard to tell because we could tell that the delivery was so unorthodox.
This is out there too. They're calling for a sweep immediately, but it looks like it's going to hang out there.
Yeah, I think unless they.
Yeah, they're off.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's outside. No, it's gonna actually it pretty much noses.
Not gonna get any inside roll here.
Pretty much noses. So, but Craig's probably fairly happy to just trade hits.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get any inside roll here, and he could sit first and second in line on the center line there, That would be a really good position for him to at least steal one.
Yeah, because he really needs to, if he has any real significant hope in this game at this point, he needs to get steal.
Yeah.
And now's as good a time to steal as any.
I mean, and especially it's still the 6th. If he steals one, he can turn this back into a 2-point game with 2 ends to play.
Exactly. And if he should happen to steal 2, I mean, then all bets are off.
Yeah, no, he definitely needs to steal at least 1, because if he just gets 1 every end, he's tied the game up.
Yes. I don't really expect.
I don't expect steal one to be the play at this point. But if you get 1 now, you're back in business.
Yeah, you got to get 1 eventually. And I actually don't expect Gilad to let him steal 2. But anything's happened. Why you throw the stones, right?
We apparently don't have a big catalog here tonight, as they're back to Guns N' Roses.
It's the same Guns N' Roses song too, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay,
Craig's hoping for a lot of action off the center line. It's still got to move a lot.
I don't think he's getting there.
Gonna get some contact.
I don't think he is. No, he isn't.
No.
Clean through the hole. So that changes everything, and not to Craig Markwardt's favor. Because honestly, what
already
Gilad
sitting
can
one.
do, and he chips out Craig's other stone up there in the top, and rolls over to cover his other one. And okay, so Craig draws in. Gilad might let him steal 1 if he doesn't make his hit. If Craig has to make a perfect sale, alternatively, the center line's not really. I mean, it's guarded, but both guards are promotable. So it's all just boom, 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 boom. Gilad is sitting in a very powerful position right now, courtesy of that miss. And he's looking to draw into the 4-foot, which is also a legitimate. I mean, it's a perfectly good plan.
Yeah, I mean, if he's trying to just sort of enforce his will on the end here, drawing in and guaranteeing that he's going to get at least 1 out of this is fine. Playing the shutdown game and just peeling that yellow. Limiting the scoring opportunities for Craig is also a good play.
Yeah.
There's really no way he can really go too wrong here. He's sitting shot and he's up 3.
Well, the one thing he can do is not get totally buried.
That would definitely open the door.
That would be
Craig,
problematic. If he does, though, Craig has almost no choice but to hit the other one and attempt that same roll. And even if anything goes wrong, Gilad's 2 is in order.
Yeah. Well, I honestly don't know, David, if the stuff out there is the run that was there in previous years, or if a couple of the shots actually kind of look like delivery errors.
The first one was definitely a delivery error of those 2 from Craig.
And it might just be that, once you've thrown a couple stones down a path, even if the ice is perfect, you got a path.
Yeah. From my personal experience on all the sheets, I don't know if it's strictly B or if it affects B as much as the others.
Is this through?
They're both on it now, and that is hanging on to the back now. It's
through. That was interesting. I don't know why Gilad's sweepers were on that.
Yeah,
I understand.
I think initially they didn't want to leave that roll,
but
then they overdid it. I mean, he could have still hung on in the back 8 or the back 12 and been okay. It would have been a multiplier later, but at the beginning, I think they thought, oh boy, if it's not going to bury, we better make sure it isn't a hit and roll candidate. And then I think they didn't look again.
I mean, David, I'm not saying the run's not there. I'm just saying I feel like it was probably more delivery error than run.
I also think both of those, Dave, were further out than that. They were really more like almost to the 12.
Yeah,
they were
that's
hanging.
true.
They were solid 8, almost biting the edge 12 on that side.
Here's a good chance to find out, because this shot's the broom is being laid on the edge of the 4-foot over here on the left-hand side of sheet B.
Yep.
And they're looking for about a stone's worth of movement to the outside in an attempt to pick the red, and they probably want to roll behind the cover. And Craig's throwing hit weight.
And so, the line is going to be a little bit weight sensitive. If he's too heavy, it's not going to move.
And
if he's too light, it's going to overcurl.
It's moving off the center line with extreme prejudice at the moment.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a nose hit.
Maybe they just didn't quite have the sweeping muscle behind it, but they did get to it. So, I mean, it's not all bad, but it's not all good.
It's not all good either, because Gilad with the hammer, which is coming up now, can just pop that, roll into the 4-foot. And for that matter,
he doesn't even need to roll.
Yeah, or for that matter, he's just got his choice of draw lines.
He can stick. He's got a lot of options. Looks like they're just going to go for the hit and stick. They're going to play.
Yeah, I think that's probably
especially
if the draw lines are getting touchy, then
I like that they're playing it outside in as opposed to how Craig was going. Craig was really hoping for more of a roll, but this outside in, it gives Kyle Snyder a chance to make up for any like immediate narrowness, kind of let it crest a little more.
Right. And just for the record, we have just confirmed with Adam Schechter, who's kind of the draw master for this game. There is a clock on this thing. It's 10:54 is the end you're on, and you're done. It's 10:40 now, so this is probably a 7-end game. Okay, Galad's looking for, and truthfully, just the nose works. What doesn't work is a hit and roll to the outside, which I'm afraid he might have going right now. He did roll to the outside. Did he roll? How far did he roll?
He's okay.
Is he okay? Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, he
Come on,
looks to be shot. The Yellowstone is almost biting the outside of the house, and the red one was full 12. So.
All right, and they're kicking stones. So
That'll
they're shaking. That's game. That's ball game. Craig Markwardt conceding.
Well, functionally, it was only going to be a 7-end game.
Yeah,
so.
he was down 4 with 1 end to play, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we have our final finalist. The Samsung Explosion Rink, Wilson Coe, Kyle Snyder, Henrique Kempenich, and Galad Kempenich will be the other half of the C final, rather, against the Shaw Rink from Potomac, which awkwardly enough, the C final occurs on sheet D. That's okay. The A final occurs on sheet B. I've never understood how that works. So that wraps this game up. That wraps tonight up, and we will see y'all at noon tomorrow. So have a great night, everybody.
Night. Thank you.
Thank you.